Welcome to Stall to Start. Let's get started. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put a circuit, an outlet on its own circuit. Now, this is going to be electricity. We're using 120 volts, so it's going to be dangerous. Use all my advice at your own discretion. I am not a licensed electrician. I do not have that honor. And yeah, let's get started. Okay, welcome back. Now, there are a few different types of wires obviously out there. Now, but if we're talking about 120 outlets, there's a 14 and then there's a 12. The 14 is for 15 amps in your breaker box, and if you get a 12, then it's 20. So you put 5 more amps in there in that circuit. So I think if you get 14, it's kind of useless. I will never ever buy 14. It makes no sense to me. Why would I want? There's more power now, more technology. You know what I mean? Even the 3D printer, which is right there, obviously, it takes some withdrawal. So I usually just try to have it on one circuit if I can. And yeah, I don't use the 14. And then there's a 3, like you'll see 12.3 or 12.2. I'm sure, like, if you research, small research, that means there's an extra wire in there. You get the red wire, and that's usually for like other. You don't necessarily need it for just basic outlets. You'll need it for like a 3-way switch. Some stuff special like that, or like an oven. But then like an oven like that, you're gonna need a bigger wire. So yeah, there's a lot to learn. I'll cut this wire up. I want to listen to some music, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna put this on this outlet. Now there's a copper and there's a silver. The silver is always neutral. I don't want to say always unless you're using it for hot, blah blah blah. There's a lot to learn. Now it's always going to be in a pattern, like it doesn't. So the first one will go there, and then your other one will go there. So you have the black will go on your copper, and then the white, and then the ground goes here. But it doesn't. You have to have. I'll show you when we get to that point. And then the next outlet, if you decide to continue on to your circuit, you use the bottom ones to go on to continue the circuit, and then we'll go from there. Make sure your power is always off. I'm not an electrician, so don't follow me. You know what I mean? All right, don't sue me. All right, we'll be right back. So now that once we get the box in, and then you can cut the wires, and now you got the wires. Now you got the white, neutral, you got the hot, and then you have the ground. Now this is one of those tools that strips off some of the like the insulation on it. So you should be able to just clamp it down like that, and it should move. See, it broke a little bit of it. I can't get a good picture on it. There you go. So all you need is a little bit, and I'll bring you right back. Now that we got that all stripped up, you can see you don't need much. Now, it's really hard to do one-handed. Now, you'll need the copper. The copper is going to be on the black. Now, if you can see these notches on here, see those little bumps right there? You could put it right on there. Sorry about this. Okay, but I'm left-handed, so I'll put it on the other side. I don't know if that matters or not. Bear with me. So, if you slide it in like that, and then you'll be able to turn it, and then that'll hold it as you bend it over. And then you want to bend it all the way over until, until this cable, where my thumb is, all the way over here, where my pinky is right here. You know what I mean? So we're going to button that all up on all the sides, and I'll show you what to do next with the ground. Okay. Okay, so it looks kind of confusing here, but trust me, it's not. So you can see how we bent it. Stupid camera. So we bent it right there, and then it's all screwed in. Same thing to the other side on the neutral with the silver. Yeah. Now, as far as the ground goes, any wire cannot be tied in twice. Like you can't have 2 wires on this screw or any other screw. So when you do it for the ground, if you're going to connect more, what you do is you take one ground and then you cut it, and then one would go to the one that you're coming in, and then the other ground would be the one continuing on to the next line. But because we're not going to do that, we're not going to. It sounds confusing now that I say it here. Okay, So there's two wire. The ground cannot be, you can't have two grounds on there, but you have a ground coming in. Now, if you had a ground coming in, you can't tie anything to the next ground, you know what I mean? So like if you had the other wire coming in to the next receptacle, you can't tie that ground and this ground to that, to that one. So imagine if we had another wire coming in to the other one, to another outlet. But in this case, we're not going to do that because this one's going to be dedicated for one appliance. In this case, it would be a 3D printer. So in that case, we could take out this whole thing right here, this whole contraption, and then take the ground and put it directly on the ground screw because we're not going to make another outlet to this circuit. And what I mean by circuit is, so right here is it's going all the way up, going to the rafters like we spoke about, and then it's going to the breaker box. So that whole circuit from the breaker box to that outlet, the only thing in that circuit is going to be that 3D printer. So nothing else is, it's not drawing power except, or nothing, no lights or anything is going to be tied into this circuit except for that 3D printer. All right, now we got to go to the breaker box, take all this apart, and we'll set it back up, put it all in the box, and then we'll go back over to the breaker. Okay, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but this was the cap that's holding the other two pieces, and if you were going to continue the circuit. But because we're not going to, it can go right there, and that's where it's going to stay. All right, now off to the breaker box, after I put this all up. One more thing. Okay, so when you're putting it in the box for sure, and you're going to stay, keep it in the box, I like to wrap some electrical tape around it, just around the edges where the screws are, just for safety and make it more secure, I guess. I'm not going to right now because I'm gonna have to take this apart again because I have to do the drywall and everything, and then we're gonna go from there. So I don't really care. So we're gonna just leave it at that, like that, and then go from there. All right. Okay, now that we got the outlet in the box, all we gotta do is put the cover on. Okay, now that we got the outlet cover on there, all we need to do now is basically go to the breaker box. They say to have it like this because potential piece of metal or I don't know, could fall between the negative and the positive and cause a short. I guess. I'm sure electricity usually happens by mistake. That's how they make the rules, is from mistake. So we'll have it set like that. It's always going to confuse me though, because I've always had it set the other way in life. But off to the breaker box we go on the other side of the wire. All right. Okay, now we're at the breaker box. Now the wire's coming in, and you pop these little things out. Little grommet things, but there's supposed to be a little clamp to hold that in, and I don't have those yet, and I'm just gonna wire them in because I'm gonna do those later. Now the wire splits off, like I said, it's a neutral, positive, and ground, and it's a 12-2 wire. I'm sorry. And so the neutral, now because it's a sub panel, there's these connections right here because this is technically a main panel, but once it's connected like that, and then you rip that out, like we said before, if I had it in another video yet, I don't think I'm going to because I'm going to post this first. A lot to learn. So you rip that out so the neutral and the ground are not connecting. Same thing with, there's going to be like a ground on the box. That's, as long as that's grounded in, that's fine because it's ground. But neutral, you can't have bare on or anything touching, because it's going to be separate, unlike if it was a main sub panel. Anyways, more to the subject. So we have those three wires. Now the neutral goes down to the neutral bus bar. Now you'll know once you're which one's which once you install it. So I know I installed the wire going over here, which is the ground, and then it goes in, and then I also have the other ground that goes into the ground. I know, a lot. And then I also have the 100 amp wire. Sorry for the horrible cane. The 100 amp wire that's neutral, and that's going to this bus bar that's powering that. So I know that the white is going to go on the left and the grounds are always going to be on the right for this sub panel. Now that's all I had to do is put it to the ground, put that to the neutral bus bar, and then I have my hot, and then they skip it. So right where you get to the main port, obviously make sure everything's off. And then once you get to a breaker that you'll be able to like the little clip right there, you see the little thing popping out. Where's that? Right there. Now don't touch any of this if it's hot. Make sure everything is off. And I know it is. So then once that's there, line it all up. Make sure it's all tucked in. And that's it. That should power up the breaker box. Or the outlet, I'm sorry. So once that's all in, we can put the cover back on technically. And we'll flip the breaker and test it out. I'll be right back. I wonder what that light's doing. Alright, so we got that on. Now we just have to flip the breakers. Let's see if it works. Alright, that's one. That should be the outlet. Alright, it's all plugged in. Now let's see if we can turn this on. Yep, we have power. One outlet down, in a sense, but yep, that's how you make an outlet. Alright, I'll see you next time, you guys. Be safe, make sure the power's off. So we got the outlet up and running. Everything's off. I just wanted to say that, you know, just keep on going what you do. Sometimes you go back and you think, where was I? You know, think about what past yourself would say. Alright, this was a fun project. It's going to help me later on with my other projects, so I decided to do it and give it a whirl. It's a portable battery pack. I got the lid on it right now. I bought the 12-volt battery, that's all it is. Connected to the positive and negative, all wired up. The positive side has a 15 gauge fuse. It's connected over here to a power outlet, 12-volt power outlet. It's just a cigarette one, and I have a converter for USB, so you know it's 12 volts, so I can power that up. I can power up any electronic right now. I just wanted to get my hands a little, you know, get in there and figure it out, and now I can switch it up and go solar. So that's pretty cool. Figured it all out. We got the power all up. I'm very happy about it. Blue light obviously says they got power, and it's awesome. Don't let anybody tell you can't build something, because you never know. Take it easy. Peace.